So I've alluded to this in my previous videos once or twice, and I thought I'd go ahead and take the time to do it, and that is to review a few of my own knives that I've made. Now, unfortunately, the second knife I ever made, that was sold, and the third knife was a present for a mate, so he has that now, so I can't really do it. But I'll put some pictures up of them so you can have a look. But I figured what I'll do today is I'll start at the beginning with my first knife that I made, which is this one here. It is a big heavy thing. Weighs about the same as my kukri, or about 100 grams less than my kukri. I didn't have the best equipment at the time to do it, but I was super keen, so did it anyway. And this is what I came up with. So it is still nearly, it's almost the full thickness of the leaf spring originally, the stock. And I had a small linisher that I used to grind it down over a very long period of time. It would have been quicker to use files, believe it or not. But this was designed to be a heavy bush knife that could be used for chopping. It has a 90-degree spine for ferrocerium rods and for getting your tinder fuzz. I even incorporated small divots on either side to use with a bow and drill fire, or a bow drill fire kit. The handle scales are not, like, there is nothing symmetrical about this. There is nothing symmetrical about this knife. The handle scales are uneven. The handle's slightly too small. It's far too heavy for what it's supposed to be. I just went crazy with it, just so I could start, just so I could get some experience up in making knives. However, it's sharp. It's hardened enough to hold an edge, and because of the geometry of the edge, I've split down about 10 kilos of firewood with this, just the stuff you buy, and it shaved my arm afterwards. That's not because the cutting edge was hard, it's because of the geometry of the cutting edge. As soon as that first little bit of split started, the shoulders on the cutting edge would actually force the wood apart rather than the slicing or the sharpened edge itself. So, but that's geometry. We'll get into that one day, I'm sure. To get straight into the testing, same testing as I do with all of my knives. We'll start with some phone book paper, and you can see it'll slice clean through. It'll just, except for that because I stuffed it. But yeah. So, you know, considering how thick it is, and considering what I've done with it, because I have abused this knife quite a lot, is maybe I didn't resharpen this when I got back. Anyway, you can see it is cutting the paper. It is tearing the paper as well, because it's the first knife I've ever made. It's not perfect. It's actually what I would call, if you please mind my language, it's shit. But it was the first thing I ever made. I enjoyed making it. It was very frustrating, but I enjoyed making it. I even put together a sheath for it. Again, I had no idea what I was doing at this stage, absolutely none. I just watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and did some reading, and thanks to Australian Bladesmiths and Blacksmiths Facebook group, they actually helped me out a lot. They've got a lot of really good material on there on how to do all this kind of stuff, but this is the sheath that I created for it. And there is nothing pretty about this at all. I hold on to it as a reminder of where I came from. That's why I have it and why I keep it. I have used it and it works, but it is ugly. and heavy. And yeah, it's just all bad. But these are all lessons learned. So now that I've done the paper test, I'm going to take one of those broken off pieces of wood that I use on the kukri tests, and we're going to do some chopping, and it's going to be hilarious. All right, so stay tuned. Thank you. Alrighty. All right. Here we are again. Same place, same everything as usual. Here's the kniffy, and we're going to do some chopping on this, and then after that we're going to do another paper cut test and see how bad the edge has gone from chopping on this. So it's going to be interesting, because normally I'd do the chopping test, or I'd chop some wood with this and I'd just clean the edge up afterwards. I haven't done that lately, obviously, because I haven't, and also did an abusive test a while ago when I was cutting baling wire with this. So we might even do a bit of splitting, we'll see what happens. But first, chop, so. I'm not going to sit here and chop through all day, because it's going to take me a long time. Even though it is heavy, you know, the physics of it, that's why the kukris are so good, because they're relatively lightweight and they're very long. So the physics of it just works so well, and the edge shape and everything, I love them so much. You can see this will cut, it'll chop, but you're not gonna be cutting through stuff this size. It's just too small. Alright, so I reckon I'll stop there, but you can see here what's happened. I've chopped away, it's done the job. We'll do some splitting, go back, do a paper test, see if I can shave my arm with it. It's going to be funny. Here we are. Alright. So here's another chunk of wood that I've got. Use this as a baton, or just get stuck in, eh? There you go. So keep in mind, this stuff is recycled pine. It's dried out, so you know it's split pretty easily. But I've taken this out bush. I've taken this a lot of places, and it's split almost everything. It's just the sheer thickness of the front, going from the cutting edge to the shoulder. It's like a wedge. Well, it is a wedge. So there you go. Job done. Let's go inside and have a look. Righto. Back inside now, hopefully you can see me. Got another bit of paper here. If you actually look real careful on that edge, I don't know if you can see that or not, you'll see some chips taken out of the edge. That's where it was tearing the paper. That's where I tried to cut through baling wire, or steel fencing wire, with this knife, and that's how I knew it wasn't fully hardened, because it just rolled the edge straight over. Just chipped it out, rolled it over, it was no good. So let's have a look, see. So it's actually not too bad. As I said, it hits those chips on the edge and it'll just tear it up. But it's actually not doing too badly. I mean, it's obviously worse than what it was, but I'm actually kind of, I was expecting it to be a lot worse. I wasn't expecting it to be able to cut the paper at all, so that's not bad. Let's see how it goes on arm here. Yeah, see, it's shaving, no issue. No issue at all. So I mean, that's what I was saying. It's not perfect. It's nowhere near. I wouldn't even call it good, but it does the job. And I think sometimes people expect too much for what they're willing to pay. I'll never sell this, simply because even though I'm sure someone has offered to buy it before, I'm not willing to sell it because I don't want my name on something like this. It's incomplete. It's not good enough. So what you're gonna see in the next video, which I'll be doing straight after this one, is my latest knife that I've made. And someone has offered me money for it. It is potentially sold. I just need to complete the sheath. I haven't made the sheath for it yet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's probably gone on too long as it is, but I did say I was going to start reviewing my own knives and showing everyone what they can do and what the sort of work I produce. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you in the next video very shortly because I'm doing it straight away. So thanks, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. If you got any pointers outside of the obvious for my work, please chuck it down in the comments. I'm more than happy to take on constructive criticism any day of the week. Alright? Thanks, guys. Cheers.